Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Juan Otero, and I'm excited to walk you through my information systems project management end of semester project, developed as part of the MIS program at UNLV's Lee Business School. This presentation summarizes the case study, Flow, Dell's Agile Transformation Initiative, and how I would have handled the project. This specific project was designed to accelerate software delivery, improve on quality, and strengthen overall team autonomy. In this case scenario, I served as the project manager responsible for aligning the Agile implementation with strategic outcomes, stakeholder expectations, and organizational change management. What you'll see today reflects not only Agile frameworks in action, but also how project planning, risk management, and communication strategies can drive meaningful transformation even at the enterprise scale. Now, let's jump into a time machine and head back to 2017 when this case took place. Good day, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Juan Otero, and I had the privilege of serving as the project manager for the Dell's Agile Transformation Pilot Project, a strategic initiative we call Flow. Over the next 20 minutes, I'll walk you through how we designed, led, and delivered this initiative from project scope and measurable objectives to execution highlights and risk management strategies, and the impact we achieved across our pilot teams. This wasn't just a report. It's a look at how we aligned people, tools, and processes to lay the foundation for scalable agility across Dell Tech. Before we dive in, let me give you a quick roadmap for what we will be covering today. This briefing is structured around 6 key areas. First, I'll set the stage by outlining the purpose and context behind the Flow initiative. This is important because I'll be answering the why we launched this project and what we actually set out to achieve. From there, I'll walk you through the project scope and major deliverables, followed by the planning and execution strategies that guided our approach. We'll then explore how we manage risk and change, how we engage key stakeholders, and finally, I'll share the key outcomes and lessons learned from the pilot project, along with what this means moving forward. Let's begin by looking at why this transformation was necessary. At the heart of this initiative was a clear challenge. We were moving too slowly. Dell's average lead time from requirements to delivery had reached over 109 days, a delay that didn't just limit our ability to respond to customers, but it also limited our ability to innovate and scale effectively. But speed alone wasn't the goal. We needed to move faster without compromising on quality, team alignment, or delivery visibility. That's what led us to launch Flow, a focused agile pilot project designed to evolve our current hybrid delivery model, which had traditionally blended Waterfall with some Scrum practices. With Flow, we introduced lean delivery principles, real-time tooling, and transparent workflows to accelerate outcomes, empower teams, and build the foundation for scalable, agile approach. As part of our project charter, we framed our SMART objectives around 5 focus areas. Those 5 areas were time, quality, tooling, team engagement, and culture, ensuring our goals aligned both with business outcomes and organizational behavior. Under time, we targeted that lead time reduction from 109 days down to under 40 days, a critical shift for accelerating product delivery. In the area of quality, we focused on defect resolution within sprint cycles, aiming to increase closure rates from 20% to a modest 30% through integrated quality checks and stronger team ownership. For tooling, our goal was 80% adoption of Flow tools across all pilot teams, backed by change board approvals and formal training. This ensured consistency, visibility, and standardization in Agile workflows. Within team engagement, we set a benchmark of 85% workshop attendance, supported by structured training and leadership reinforcement. And finally, to support a sustainable cultural shift, we aim to reduce developer overtime by 25% using workload monitoring and more intentional sprint planning to avoid that burnout. Every objective was measurable, actionable, and time-bound. But more importantly, each one was tied to a specific area of transformation. That structure allowed us to track progress not just by metric, but by intent. The scope of the Flow initiative was intentionally focused and tightly defined. We concentrated on Agile enablement for 4 pilot teams, Team 1 through 4, with the goal of demonstrating impact before scaling further. Key activities within the scope included integrating Flow-specific Agile tools, conducting structured training sessions, and standardizing terminology and Agile metrics across all 4 teams. This consistency was essential for cross-team visibility and reporting. At the same time, we made clear what was not in scope. The broader Agile transformation beyond the 4 teams would occur in future phases. We also excluded any changes to Dell's physical manufacturing processes, as well as the creation or purchase of new enterprise software. This clarity allowed us to stay focused, delivering measurable value quickly, and avoiding the typical friction that comes from overreaching early in a transformation. The Flow initiative produced a comprehensive set of deliverables, each designed not to just check a box, but to drive real operational value. Foundational documents like the project charter and the Agile communication plan helped establish clarity early, aligning scope, roles, and communication across teams. We then upgraded our CMS, our code management system, by introducing tools like compound boards to reduce bottlenecks and visualize workflows in real time. On the training side, we developed a structured Flow Agile workshop program to build core competencies and support overall team adoption. These workshops were reinforced by the launch of our SharePoint-based Communities of Practice portal, promoting knowledge sharing and continuous learning. We also delivered a Flow metrics dashboard, giving leadership direct visibility into lead time, cycle time, and team performance. This was further emphasized with published performance reports to keep key stakeholders aligned with overall project progress. Finally, we implemented a change management and cultural alignment plan to support sustainable adoption and captured lessons learned to inform future Flow rollouts. Together, these deliverables formed a toolkit that was not only tactical, but scalable and ready to be embedded into Dell's broader operating model. The Flow pilot project unfolded over a 13-month timeline, with a cadence designed both for agility and accountability. We kicked off with the approval of the project charter and Agile communication plan in July. By early August, we had specified and scheduled our tooling upgrades, and in September, we completed those upgrades, laying the technical foundation for Flow practices. In October, we hosted a value stream mapping workshop, followed days later by the launch of the Communities of Practice SharePoint portal, which became a key enabler for knowledge sharing across those 4 pilot teams. By the end of that month, we had collected baseline metrics and began regular reporting from all pilot teams. In February, we briefed the SPI board on mid-pilot progress, and by June, we achieved one of our most important outcomes, a lead time reduction of 109 days to under 40 days, hitting our SMART objective for time to delivery. The pilot officially concluded in July, on time and with lessons learned captured to inform future expansion. Just an overview: the charter approval, July 12th, the CMS upgrade, September 30th, metrics collected, October 28th, SPI board update February 7th. Pilot was completed on July 30th, 2017. Our work breakdown structure followed 8 structured phases, from project initiation to project closure. And they served as the backbone of our execution strategy. We began with foundational activities like charter approval, stakeholder identification, and governance setup. From there, we moved into detailed planning, which included defining the scope, establishing our communication strategy, and scheduling training. Tooling upgrades were a major phase, including CMS assessment and specification of flow tools requirements, like compound boards and value stream mapping, followed by implementation, testing, and deployment of those tools. On the dev team side, we invested heavily in training and coaching. This included live agile workshops, curriculum development, and the launch of our Communities of Practice portal to support continuous learning. We then shifted into the pilot execution, consisting of backlog development, sprint planning, sprint cycles, and real-time metric collection across lead time and cycle time. Equally important were the cultural and communication components, including management strategies, resistance mitigation, and recognition practices built directly into our Agile ceremonies. Finally, we closed the loop with performance tracking, lessons learned workshops, and formal transition to ongoing flow operations. This structure ensured we weren't just delivering tasks. We were enabling sustainable transformation across both teams, operations, and team behavior. To ensure alignment and eliminate any ambiguity, we implemented a RACI matrix, clarifying who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed for every major project task. I held primary responsibility for project planning, coordination, and delivery. The Change Management Board, based in Texas, was accountable for approving and overseeing all tooling upgrades, playing a critical role in flow compliance and even governance. Scrum Masters were central to enablement. They facilitated workshops, coached teams through Agile adoption, and ensured accurate flow metric reporting. Our 4 pilot teams, consisting of developers, were responsible for execution, sprint delivery, and real-time engagement with the flow tools. This matrix helped us avoid delays, streamline escalation paths, and maintain momentum, especially during those high-impact phases like tooling deployment and sprint rollouts. Clear ownership not only improved coordination, but also built trust and accountability across all teams. This snapshot from Sprint 3 highlights how we operationalize Agile principles through measurable activity. Our goal for this sprint was to enhance workflow visibility and team efficiency. We launched a real-time compound board to reflect work status across the pilot teams and enabled blocked task notifications to reduce friction mid-sprint. We also prioritized training during the sprint, running a hands-on value stream mapping workshop to help teams identify bottlenecks and optimize flow. Every user story was tracked using defined story points and status indicators, with Scrum Masters and developers collaborating daily to ensure transparency. The sprint closed with a structured review and retrospective where the team demoed progress, reflected on performance, and identified improvements for the next iteration. This cadence of delivery, reflection, and adjustment was a foundational element of the flow model, and it played a key role in building team ownership and measurable gains. Our KPIs were velocity of 12 to 15, 15% lead time reduction, and 85% defect closure. We maintained an active rated log throughout the project, tracking risk, assumptions, issues, and dependencies in real time. This allowed us to stay ahead of challenges rather than simply reacting to them. Early in the initiative, we flagged key risks, most notably resistance to the Agile adoption among developers, and the potential delays in the CMS upgrade. We addressed both by increasing communication, promoting early wins, and escalating tooling timelines when needed. On the issue side, we encountered team overload particularly during training phases. To resolve this, we adjusted the sprint commitments, prioritized critical tasks, and staggered coaching sessions to reduce disruptions. In terms of dependencies, one of the most sensitive was the coordination with the NUI Gateway researchers, whose availability directly impacted our training and workshop schedule. We mitigated this by securing time blocks in advance and maintaining flexible workshop formats. This structured, transparent risk approach gave leadership and teams a shared view of where attention was needed, and it helped us preserve velocity even during high-risk phases. One of the keys to sustaining momentum throughout the Flow initiative was tailored stakeholder engagement, calibrated to each group's level of influence and interest. At the top, the SPI board, our executive sponsor group, was engaged through milestone-based progress reports, risk briefings, and formal presentations. Their governance support was essential to removing any roadblocks quickly and reinforcing executive alignment. On the ground, developers and testers in our pilot teams participated in daily stand-ups, sprint ceremonies, and async team chat channels. They also contributed feedback via SharePoint and retrospectives, giving them visibility and a voice throughout the process. The Change Management Board played a specialized role, focusing on tooling approvals, compliance, and upgrade oversight. We maintained a consistent cadence of virtual meetings to ensure alignment without slowing any progress. Other internal stakeholders across product, supply chain, and training were looped in via newsletters, management reports, and integration checkpoints. And finally, our end users. While now active stakeholders in this pilot phase received updates passively through release notes and customer portals, this level of engagement helped build buy-in, reduce friction, and kept the transformation effort grounded in real-world needs and feedback. Our communication strategy was built for scale, supporting global coordination across teams, time zones, and functional boundaries. We leveraged a modern tool set that included Monday.com for project tracking, SharePoint for centralized knowledge sharing, Zoom and Slack for synchronous and even asynchronous team collaboration. This platform mix allowed us to maintain transparency while staying agile in how we connected. Escalation pathways were clearly defined from day one. At the team level, issues were raised to Scrum Masters, then escalated to the project manager, myself, and further to the program manager, and then finally to the executive sponsor, the executive level, depending on severity. Our goal was to ensure blockers were resolved quickly without interrupting flow. To reduce reporting friction, we also introduced Zapier-based automation, which pushed updates from task boards to stakeholders automatically. This helped to reduce noise, eliminate manual status chasing, and gave leadership real-time visibility into progress and impediments. Ultimately, our communication plan wasn't just about tools. It was about clarity, cadence, and trust. That foundation allowed us to stay aligned even in moments of high velocity or high risk. As we closed out the pilot project, our performance metrics told a clear story of progress, not just in outcomes, but in engagement and cultural shift. We reduced lead time by 12% across our pilot teams, a meaningful gain even if just shy of our 15% target. This validated that the flow model could compress delivery cycles when paired right with tooling and practices. Defect resolution saw a significant improvement as well. We closed 85% of known issues within the sprint cycle, up from a baseline of just 20%. The increase was directly tied to the use of real-time dashboards and stronger ownership by cross-functional teams. And perhaps most telling, we achieved 90% workshop attendance across all 4 pilot teams. This level of participation reflected real buy-in, not just compliance, and reinforced the cultural readiness for Agile beyond this process alone. While we continue to fine-tune velocity and scale, the trajectory of these results, faster delivery, better quality, and deeper engagement positioned us to expand the flow model with confidence within Dell Tech. Key takeaways. The Flow project wasn't just a success in terms of metrics, it was proof of concept for something larger. We validated that a focused Agile model, when paired with real-time tooling, targeted coaching, and intentional stakeholder communication, can deliver measurable results and lasting cultural shifts, even within a complex, distributed enterprise like Dell. What we built here wasn't a temporary structure. It was a repeatable framework, one that balances velocity with visibility and process with people. From sprint performance to team engagement to executive alignment, Flow proved that Agile transformation is achievable, scalable, and sustainable when done with clarity and discipline. And perhaps most importantly, the foundation we laid during this pilot is now positioned to support future rollouts across other teams, business units, and regions. Flow didn't just work, it's ready to scale. Thank you for your time, attention, and support through this initiative. If you have any questions or would like to explore how this pilot model can be adapted to other areas of the organization, I'm always happy to connect. You can reach me directly at oteroj@dell.com. I'll leave you with one final thought. True agility doesn't begin with speed. It begins with alignment. Alignment between our people, our tools, and our purpose. That's what Flow was built on, and that's what made it work. Thank you. Hey, welcome back. Thank you for staying with me all this time. Before we officially close, I want to be clear that this case study was developed solely for academic purposes. All project artifacts, visuals, and metrics were created to demonstrate the practical application of project management framework, Agile principles, and stakeholder communication in an enterprise context. I would just like to take this opportunity to say again, thank you, and I hope you have a great rest of the year.